Alright, it's Coach Nefarious, and I'm gonna do a quick tutorial on a basic 3-wave slow push. Just doing this demonstration with Darius, pre-recorded, so I already got it down. Easy mode, right? Easy mode, just commentating. Alright, first off, in any slow push, doesn't matter how many waves, there's two basic rules you want to follow. The second last wave, you would ideally want to have somewhere pushed up over here, right? Just outside the turret range, essentially in their freezing zone. Which is done because you want to get the position as close to the turret as possible to minimize the extra distance it needs to take after you clear it. Reasons for that will be made clear shortly. Anyway, let's keep going. Second thing, last wave, you already got the final size of the slow push down. So right now, everything that matters in the final wave is that you get this thing into the turret as fast as you can. So focus on shoving. If you have a very big time buffer, maybe you can trade. But if you have to choose between shoving and trading, shoving usually has priority. Because this is literally all that your slow push led up to. Just creating a time advantage. Every second you're wasting here is a second you're not spending deep warding or basing, right? And maybe even roaming somewhere. Anyway, so that's why you want to shove the last wave. The reason you don't shove at the start is because you wouldn't build up a sizable minion wave, right? At the end it's not relevant anymore because you're not going to get any more minions anymore. So, just make sure that's clear. It's all about size and position. Getting a big size into this turret as fast as you can. Alright. That's what a slow push does. So first wave, since this is a 3-wave push, we don't want to get the first wave very far up here, right? We would only want to move it essentially nothing at all, but otherwise a little bit. In a real game you can move it a little bit because the enemy will be also clearing some minions, right? Sometimes they will have to not just guillotine it, not get it at the very last moment, because that would allow you to set up very easy trading patterns against them on their last hits. So sometimes they want to do it when you're last hitting, which chunks the minions quite heavily. That's why you can have more margins of errors in a real game. That's something I want you to remember. If you can do it in a practice tool, remember you have more room of error to play with in a real game. Very important. Some people start meticulously slow pushing and it's not needed. You can chunk it out a little bit more in a real game. Okay, you see me not touching this at all. Just last hitting. I allowed myself to use abilities here. In a real game, that's not always efficient. Again, you got bigger margins in a real game, so I'm just focusing on the slow push here. Okay. So, now we want to know where this next wave's coming in, because remember, this is the second wave. The third wave is going to be the last wave, so we want to get the third wave over in this position, right? Outside of turret range. We know where the third wave is on the minimap. We can just essentially just draw the mirror image. If you draw a mirror through the center of a river, right? You just mirror it like this. You just go right over here. That's where their wave is, right? So at the same point in the lane, essentially, on their part. That's where their wave is. So, and you know that it takes 10 seconds. This is 220, and this minion passes over here. This is exactly 220. Exactly. This is going to be exactly 230, right? So it's going to take exactly 10 seconds. So it makes for very easy calculations, right? Since I have a lot of wave clear, I can play around with these timings quite easily. Otherwise, you have to anticipate more and do more practice. So now, it's only 5 seconds. I can start clearing these minions. Keep this one alive, though. Didn't do that. So it's going to push quite hard. Harder than I actually wanted to. I didn't want to hit this minion. Let's just see what that looks like. Look at that. So it goes right down the center of the wave. You can see this, there wasn't a very big margin here. This was quite close. So, yeah, again, not a big deal if it ever reaches the turret. For the purpose of the exercise, in a real game, you generally want to keep it a little bit on the safe side and not push it up that far. Because as you can see, look at these casters. Look at this. This is what happens here. If this minion wave was pushed up any further, I couldn't reach these casters. That's why, right? It's all about figuring out the range. If you're a ranged champion, ranges change. There's so many variables. Always look at what you're doing in your situation, right? If you have Gnar, then you have more range on the caster, so this could push up a little bit further. It's just about matching the general rule to whatever you're doing in that particular situation. So now I'm just shoving this without bleeding last hit. So what I do is I do a little auto WQ combo here, and then I move in for the CS. Boom. Nothing too fancy, but look at that. That's a slow push. So that's 251, which means I got plenty of time. I could even proxy this wave if I wanted to. I could deep ward. I have all those options, right? Look at this little ward. So this is an example deep ward you can do after a slow push. This netted me a kill in my last ranked game, where someone stepped over here with quarter HP. A lot of people who do their Krugs do it as a last camp. So what that means is that they are already very low. This is an excellent ward to catch them on that. So what happens is this covers this ledge. So if they're walking through here for some reason, it would be very strange. Sometimes people change their mind and they don't want to do Krugs. That's debatable. But it captures this ledge over here, captures this ledge over here, right? Alternative spot is in the brush. Reason you would want to do that is, let's say you approach from this side, you can ward quicker. Right, it's all about speed. If you want to base, you can also, if you do it from here, you ward in the rush. If there's someone standing over here, they can't see that you warded. If there's someone standing over here, they can see the ward. You can't see that they saw the ward. Again, that can be dangerous, right? If they have information, but you don't know they have that information. So again, it's a little bit safer if you're in a real game and you're struggling for time. Just trying to give you guys all the information that could be relevant. This is very detailed. This is not often gonna make a big difference. Again, it's just about simple trade-offs like that. Okay, so that's basic wave manipulation, slow pushing, 3-wave slow push in Darius. All the little tips and tricks. Keep the first wave in the center. Second wave's gonna arrive in that center because of that. Move the third wave, which is the last wave, as far up as you can without making sure that you can still hit the casters. If you had a pure melee range champion, then you want the casters a little bit further up, right? Again, it's all about figuring out how you want to play. If you're trying to trade against your opponent, you could hold it in the center for longer. Again, it's all about figuring out what you want to do in your game. If I think I can run someone down on the turret, I might abandon my slow push, just get some minions on the turret. All I need to get under his skin and just kill him, right? It's all about, you know, if I need a bigger minion wave because the jungler has to dive with me, I can stall my push for a little longer. This is just a demonstration of how to do it and not when to do it. Talked about some of the whens, some of the trade-offs, but this is mainly focused on how you do that particular thing. Okay, you want to do 3 waves, how do you do it? Okay, that's what this was about. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you guys in the next one.